All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Jonathan Benjamin. I am the most professional podcaster. And joining me is, as always,
Credo.
Credo.
One and only Credo, Jonathan. That's it. I'm like
Prince.
Cher, Prince,
Okay.
Madonna, Credo. That's it.
That's classy. It's
Yeah,
classy.
it rolls off the lips easy, you know. I don't know.
Steve, I'm amped.
Hey, man, I've been amped.
Yeah.
Been amped, Jonathan. Why you amped, man? What's going on?
I'm happy. Like, listen, it's spooky season.
Yeah.
Last Saturday, I had the privilege and honor of being at ACW. And I'm just ready to chop it up with you, talk about this. Really, really impressive show.
Yo, man, you know, it was one of the best shows, I think, out of the year. I think it was the best show out of the whole year from ACW. So it was very cool. Halloween, man. Halloween's right around the corner. Yeah. A really awesome show. But we're going to talk a lot about this, Jonathan. It was just more than awesome, man. It was just great. It was a great time. We had a great time. We were there. We saw a lot, did a lot. But, you know, more importantly, I think people kind of want to know what's going to go on today. You know, I think all ACW, we're going to have this review show going on.
Sure.
I know there's some things to talk about with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins injured, out. How long is he going to be out? Some AEW going on there. Darby Allin, we got to bring up. He was also down in New York City for ACW, which was kind of another a show going on down the city. I think Anil's back there. He probably could tell you a little bit more. But man, I think we got to bring something else. Something's not feeling right about tonight, Jonathan. What is?
Listen,
do we need a guest or something?
we've been doing this thing where you never know what's going to happen, and tonight we got somebody on the show. Yeah. Obviously, very busy because they're also part of ACW, but we cashed in all of our chips, and we were able to get none other than Paige is joining us.
Paige
tonight.
Mackenzie.
Paige Mackenzie. Yes.
Paige, are you out there?
Our producers are hard at work.
She is on.
She's okay. All right. There she is. Look at that.
Paige, how is it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great.
So I could say Paige or heel Becky Lynch.
That was my costume on Saturday.
We got to see heel Paige Mackenzie. Paige, I just want to say right away what a great job you and the rest of the ACW crew did on Saturday. Such an impressive show. And what were your just initial thoughts? You know, Steve just said this was probably what he thinks was the best show of the year so far. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Somehow every show gets better and better, which, you know, we set the standard pretty high back in January when we debuted. And it's incredible to see that we keep building on that.
No, it was a good time, man. It's Halloween. Like, you can't Halloween plus wrestling, two of the best things. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Those are two of my favorite things of all time. So
absolutely. So, Paige, you know, I got to see you in action. You go around, you add something to the show. You're interviewing. You're Jill of all trades, as they say, Paige of all trades, I guess I should say. But what were some of your favorite parts of just interacting with the fans and the people there at the show?
Yeah, I mean, the Fan Fest is probably my favorite part of the show just because at this point I get to see fans that I've been seeing since the first show, second show, third show. They come up to me, I recognize them, we get to chat a little bit, catch up, and they're always so excited to be there. There's this one little boy, Mason, who won the national championship belt that we raffled off last time, and he was there and he was so excited to show off his belt that he was carrying it around with pride, and things like that are just really cool.
No, it's I gotta wonder though, what do you think? Who do you think had the best costume out there that night? Because they did have a costume contest with Machoverse, who we could talk about later. Had a little bit of a run-in on the show on himself. But Jonathan, I didn't get to bring it up, but I brought a lucha. I had a lucha mask in my bag, and I never wore it. And I forgot about it. I forgot about my costume. I just wore all black. That was my costume.
I know that no one really saw. I wasn't officially entered into the costume contest, but I did my best. Credo. I had a hoodie on. It was dark color, and I came in tonight, and you're all Mr. Color, and I'm
changing it up. It's Halloween, right? This is the costume. I actually changed it up. Yeah. So no, I didn't see the Credo outfit though. Maybe
I'll send you a picture. It's fine.
I thought you even had the headset on at some point.
See, at one point I had a headset on. It was perfect. Paige, we obviously are going to get really into the weeds here with ACW, but some big news that came out of it. And again, I know you all you're initiated, if you will. You're a big part of ACW, whereas I'm just there as a fan. But what was really impressive was, just the quality of everything that is going on. They don't have. I'm gonna earmuffs for anybody. They don't half-ass anything over at ACW, and so the video production just incredible. There's a video wall. Everything there was just on par, if not exceeding expectations. But one of the things that we found out was that January 3rd, it's going to be the Poughkeepsie Rumble, and I'm assuming that you both have feelings about that. So, Paige, are you excited that we're going straight from Mischief Night now back to the second ever Poughkeepsie Rumble?
I mean, how could you not be? The only thing I'm not excited about is waiting till January. It's only October 21st right now. That's a long wait.
Yep.
But it's going to be really cool to see what we do with the second Poughkeepsie Rumble.
No, things take time, Jonathan. Don't rush it, man. There's a lot of things to make, all right?
No, but I have no life. I'm really excited about this. So
no, I mean, everybody loves Rumbles, right? I love it. It's going back to WWE, right? Like, everybody loves the Royal Rumble every year. You want to see who's coming out, surprises, and then at the end of the day, though, who is going to go on to win the coveted ACW championship now. Last year was different because last year crowned the first ever ACW champion, which brings us now to a new spoiler alert. If you guys haven't watched it on Triller, there's a new ACW champion, Matt Cardona. Yep. Let's talk about this main event because I think this is what we should really get into from Mischief Night while we're all here, right? Jonathan, man, from your perspective, let's get you started, man. You told us last week that Holliday was walking in with it and he's walking out with it. How do you feel about Matt Cardona becoming the ACW champion?
I feel like that everything was against Richard Holliday. There's no way that he should have not won that. I think that there was some shenanigans. And honestly, I think that no matter what happened, Richard Holliday is a name that we're all going to be talking about for a long time. Yeah. But, I think that, you have three guys who have all been a part of major promotions, and I think that they were threatened by Richard Holliday, and they all kind of ganged up on him. I don't feel like it was completely fair. And, Richard Holliday, it wasn't a 3-on-1 match. It was supposed to be a fatal 4-way, kind of no friends, everybody for themselves, but I don't think that's exactly what happened there. So I still think that your ACW champion is still Richard Holliday.
All right.
But everybody had a great showing, and I'm excited to see what the implications. Again, we heard what the match is going to be come Poughkeepsie Rumble, but that's just my opinion. I would love to hear what both of you think about that match, but again, did it live up to the hype? Absolutely. I think it was, if we're talking indie match of the year, it is a very strong, there's several matches on this card that could be indie match of the year. So, what did you guys think?
Yeah, Paige, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think Richard Holliday was a fantastic inaugural heavyweight champion for ACW. Yeah. But man, as someone who works for the company, getting to see our belt on Matt Cardona when he's at this peak of his grind right now in the Indies, it's an honor. I think it's really cool. I was actually ringside during that match, and at one point Nic Nemeth was thrown at me by Richard Holliday, and I was having a blast watching this match from right there. I think it was easily contender for match of the year on the Indies, and I'm really excited to see what Cardona does, both at ACW and online with this belt, because his social media presence is so strong, as is Holliday's. So I think we could see some good things going forward there.
I don't know if you're seeing my eye roll, but he's probably going to try to sell the belt on Whatnot. So I really would watch that, really closely.
I want to get a Major Bendy ACW championship now. You could add that to the figure collection, man. No, I think, with ACW coming up, Richard Holliday, I think, hands down, being the face of that company this year definitely put. It's weird because ACW put a spotlight on him a lot of people weren't doing at the time, and that's the kind of magic you can have with storytelling in wrestling, right?
Sure.
So people to where there's characters, there's villains, there's good guys, there's bad guys, and the way he was used in ACW this year, it was remarkable. The guy can walk the walk, he can talk the talk, and ACW showed the world what Richard Holliday can do. With, Matt Cardona now being the second champion in the company's history within a year, the prestige as a former WWE champion, TNA, he's on NXT last week and now he's on ACW this week going back, he's all over the place, still keeping himself relevant after many years after even leaving the Fed as Holliday, the Fed killer going into this. But, this main event was billed as the biggest main event on the independent history, right? It was one of the top, matches I've seen or wanted to see all year. And what I liked most about this is how ACW built it throughout the whole year. It wasn't just like, in February we're going to have this match, and then what are we going to do in like, if you look at the history of just the 5 shows that they did this year, it's like they don't have the luxury of being WWE and doing it every week and put it on TV. But for what we did this year, in the amount of time and all the shows, like everything told a story, and I think that's what I love about wrestling, Jonathan. Yep. I know you got to tell me when to shut up, but like that's why I love, like, every show you go to, you kind of understand where we are now from what we came from, and it just keeps building, man, and especially in this local area, I love it.
Well, and I will say this, again, you all had different roles that night than I did, but there was really something special about the crowd that night and how they are reacting to ACW. There was a gap in wrestling in Poughkeepsie, and now it's back and better than ever. And honestly, everybody was just super excited. There was a lot of rumbling about the matches. We, again, as fans, have become a little spoiled, a little jaded, but I think that everybody there really appreciates what they're getting. And this match, again, would have been able to main event anywhere that it was, whether it's Poughkeepsie, whether it's in, Rhode Island or Texas or wherever. I think this would have been a main event. And it really is shining that spotlight on what can happen when you have... To me, it's giving a little bit of the AEW sort of vibe of this, kind of upstart of this company that's really going out day in and day out. And, we saw things like the Now getting their own action figures. Like that's that's something completely special. Paige mentioned that there was a youngster that he won a raffle for a belt. Like, they have their own belts. I mean, this is. So Paige, into this main event, taking a little bit of a sidetrack, though, you brought up a good point, though. I want to get back into this more, but yes, everybody. I brought up a good point. I just want that to be.
That's it. Now, aside from this, I want to get your main event more on this, but the figures, Paige, you were out there. They had championships people are buying, and an independent level.
Yeah,
that's what's crazy about making this different. What are your thoughts about that too? Because I've worked with a lot of independents throughout the years, and nobody was selling their championships at the thing. No one was making their figures. Like they're encapsulating what like WWE is in a way, or just like the wrestling world into their own world. And Paige, can you speak more on that too, to where as we get more into this main event, because it's still a great main event, but I just want to get sidetracked on it.
Sure.
How do you feel about what they're doing too, maybe as an outsider looking in?
It definitely sets us apart from a lot of the other indies on the scene. I think it gives families and anyone attending the feel of being at a big, WWE show or whatever, while being local, while not breaking the bank. You get the same experience if you walk into, the MVP arena up in Albany up here, as you do walking into the Civic Center. You walk in the doors, you're greeted by the merch table, you can go buy your replica belts. They now had new t-shirts, you have the ACW t-shirts. I think it's just a really cool experience to bring back to the Hudson Valley. As these other federations, kind of outgrow that arena, we are taking it over and building something new and really special there.
Sure. And Paige, even going back to this main event, Matt Cardona as the champion now. What about like Nic Nemeth, you mentioned, Matt Riddle, just tell me more about this match. What are your thoughts on the way it was, I guess, went down? You know, what did you feel about the whole main event in all?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was incredible. I love seeing those guys in that arena. You know, they've been coming since the first show. Nic Nemeth has been one of my favorites since I was like 15, 16, to seeing him, or having him thrown at me and me diving out of the way. Like, that was so fun. And just the aura these guys bring into the ring, I thought it was spectacular. And, you know, the very beginning of it, Matt Cardona getting escorted into the back after being injured. And, you know, I heard some people behind me in the crowd being like, oh, they didn't announce he was eliminated. Oh, you know, that's suspicious. And I was sitting there like, oh, yeah, that's suspicious, you know.
Never trust pro wrestling, guys. Never. You never know. You got to listen to what happened. I don't know.
But, I mean, don't you all think, I mean, Paige, you just brought it up. Like, Matt Cardona actually kind of had an unfair advantage. He got to go back in the back and rest up while these other people
He was injured. His leg, the man barely could walk back.
Well, then,
and he still won the championship.
Yeah, well, I call shenanigans
all right.
on that.
Well,
we're just Richard Holliday's biggest fan. We get it.
Absolutely. I've been practicing. I'm there.
Protecting yourself from getting hit with a signature move.
Yes, I want to keep myself out of the line of fire. That's my goal. So
I do want to point out though, when it came down to Richard Holliday possibly being the last guy.
Yep.
It was kind of silent out there. I think a lot of people out there were starting to be like, not again, in their head.
I think you had something like a candy corn stuck in your ear or something, because I heard
TP tissue.
They were hanging from the rafters. They were like, Holiday. Yeah, I mean, they
threw streamers in the air when Cardona won. Like,
no,
Richard Holliday didn't get streamers.
I'm saying, Mischief Night, man, brought out the TP. And
one day you're all gonna come around to this, but
no, like these talents, though, man. I mean, they all came together that night. I think it was probably one of the greatest main events I think in the history at the MJN Center of just like matches that I've seen there personally. I'm sure there's been other stuff, but
sure. And I do want to say, and you have not paid me for this yet, so I'll wait and see if you Venmo me afterwards.
Yeah,
but one of the things that I want to say that really hammered home what was like going on throughout the night were those video packages. I caught myself watching the one, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is kind of putting together what the Now and Santa Slaughter have been through this year and beyond. And I found myself kind of watching this and being a little bit in awe, like, oh my God, like this was a thing. These people hate each other. This is, we've got weddings and Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame and all that stuff. And then again, we'll talk about it later, but what happened after the match. But this is, again, what I love about pro wrestling is that emotion. And I feel like this match was probably the most emotional match, going in. I kind of cut my teeth in independent wrestling watching the Now. I kind of grew up here watching them, and they've had their ups and their downs. And, again, I was a fan of both teams going, into this year. But there are certain things you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit in the wind, and you don't go to someone's wedding in a cutoff tuxedo tee. And that is exactly what Santa Slaughter did. And but I was just blown away by this match. It had everything, and I just want to know, like, again, you all play different roles than I did, but did you find yourselves kind of taking yourself out of it for a minute and seeing how special this match was? Well,
this question's for both of you guys, because I want, like, a lot of independent shows you go to, they're going to do the promo Sunday. Come on out to see the wrestling show, right?
Sure.
For me, in video and media, I want to make it look real. I have 14 years of experience in news, and I also have, just in media in general, I have over like 25 years just doing media and videos or whatnot. And I think the greatest thing that I love about pro wrestling is it real? Did that really happen? I don't know. Did it happen? It did happen, because I was at a wedding, filming a wedding, and that's what happened, man. That's these guys pulled up at the wedding during the best man speech, and I just happened to capture it. legit wedding. I'm still editing the photos. Like it's a real wedding.
Yeah.
Stuff happened, man. It really happened. I went to the Hall of Fame. We were able to be guests at the Hall of Fame, the International Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, which is in Albany, which we have to go to. Shout out to Seth over there. I saw Trish Stratus last weekend.
Yep.
And lo and behold, I was there to help film.
Did she say anything about?
She said she was going to call you back later.
Okay,
so
good. All right.
We were at the Hall of Fame. I was sitting there, and right next to Johnny Rods on my right, I got Vic Delicious and Hale Collins on my left. And once again, Josh Chernoff, Danny Moff interrupted it. I was there. I captured it. Luckily, they had me there to capture it. But I mean, that's what I love about wrestling and the reality mixed with our reality. And you never know what's gonna happen, Jonathan. But my question to you guys is, how do you like that kind of stuff? Because for pro wrestling, you can have that Sunday guy, come on out to the pro wrestling, or you could be looking at your phone and seeing this fight happening, and you're like, these guys are what is this, right? So how do you feel when an independent like ACW is kind of stretching beyond what's real and what's not, right? To where, pro wrestling, this is it, man. This is what I love about it, right? It's great storytelling, but at the same time, Are you not entertained, Jonathan? I mean, the build-up for this, which we're getting into, for the whole Now match, for the wedding, for this Hall of Fame, and they didn't even need a promo. Those were the promos for this. So, guys, I know I'll keep on yammering on, but for you, Paige, how do you feel about like seeing reality mixed with like a local independent show?
Oh, I'm obsessed with that. I remember I was sitting on my phone in the morning, the video surfaced from the wedding. And I just go, oh my God, like the person next to me, I'm like, look at this. And I had people DMing me, was there a work at a wedding? This is a work? I'm like, it happened at the wedding. I don't know. So I think it was really cool to see it. And can we just talk about Mrs. Delicious in that video for a second? She is my queen after that. Love her. I just think it's really cool. And I think, I was in the crowd and during FanFest interacting with some of the fans and asked them, what are you most excited for tonight? And so many people said they want to see what happens with the Now to the Slaughter because of the wedding, because of the Wrestling Hall of Fame. They were so invested. Yeah. I remember I was over by the stage when one of the video packages was playing, and there was a girl sobbing hysterically watching it. And, like, it just is affecting everybody, and it was so cool to see that continue to unravel right in front of our faces during the match.
And I think that's the thing, right? There's several themes in life that are just gonna elicit some sort of emotion, like weddings and pets coming home and not seeing your pet for years, and then they jump in your arms. And listen, I can be the most professional podcaster, but I still get a little waterworks when I see that dog jump into someone's arm. Anyway, these are not new themes, and they're really hitting a nerve with some of these things. Obviously, we saw Miss Delicious get involved, and there's I don't think that this is the end by far. I think that this is just the beginning for the blood rivalry, the blood feud. This is Mets and Yankees. This is Pepsi versus Coke. This is whatever. But I think that some of us grew up. Everyone's aware of like the Attitude Era, and you can say whatever you want about it, but I do think that this is kind of mirroring some of that where it's real. You can't tell like what happened there,
No, man. So, like, as a video editor, I always tell people to where I can make you laugh, I can make you cry, I can make you really angry, and it depends on what I'm showing you, right? So I have that power of eliciting this kind of emotion from you. And I'm not saying I'm the greatest editor ever lived. I'm not. There's people way better than me. I know how to do the tricks. And
I will second that.
I know how to make these videos fast and just do them faster than just from doing them all the time. But no, like, this is what I love about pro wrestling is that it's Shakespeare. It's real life. It's stories come to real life, right? Like when you're watching these videos, we know how certain things work in a way, but at the end of the day, it's storytelling.
Sure.
And I love good story. I love going to the movies. I love watching cartoons. I love, I love all stories, right? Yeah. Reading books, watching TV, movies, anything. And pro wrestling for me is that living art. It's that living Shakespeare. It's that play, right? Like, we know things. He's not going to kill him, right? But at the same time, like, if you could tell a story within wrestling, and just telling stories locally, we're, like the local the Shakespearean theater or whatever, right? So for me, just like as a video editor, to where I'm not trying to brag, I'm not the greatest at anything, but at the same time, like I love being a great storyteller, and you just give a little bit. You don't know if that's real or not. I don't know. I don't care, but now I'm invested in the match. What it comes down to where that's all you really need to show people, as opposed to Sunday. And I keep going back to that because it's like, the typical come on out to the local pro wrestling show or whatever. Like, you don't need that. Just take a peek into the window and like, hey, let's see, we're at a wedding now, and look, it got ruined. Oh, let's go over here. Look, we're looking at this award show that got ruined. I want to go see what happens at the match now. So, I don't know. For me, that always gets me to like, the reality mixed into this wrestling is what's drives me, Jonathan.
I think we're burying the lead here a little bit. We've not talked about, for any fan who was unlucky enough to not be there on Saturday, we have brand new ACW Tag Team Champions.
That's right.
So you all were there. What do you feel like, was that the proper thing to have happened? Do you feel like that, like I said, I kind of said earlier that I don't think this is the end, but what do you think? Do you think that this feud, we put a pin in it for now, or do we think that they're going to keep going at it?
Well, Paige, I'll let you answer that first, but guys, Sal, if you have that video, I don't know if we could bring it up, but ACW also brought up what happened after the show. I don't know if you did you get to see this video yet, Paige, or the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I did.
Sal, I don't know if you have it.
We got it. Here we go. You want to watch it?
Yeah, well, we'll play it real quick, and then we'll talk about it after, guys.
That part, it's so good. Are you guys gonna wear those trick-or-treating? Hey! What is this? Huh?
You think this is over? You think this is over? Hey, wait, no, you know what? This is your fault. Hey, this is your fault. I understand.
Go cry somewhere else. Family's there. Leave him alone. Jesus. Goodness gracious.
In front of our family. This never stops. It doesn't stop with these guys.
Never stops. It should have stopped out there.
Well, I think that answers your question, Jonathan. Just when you think it's over, they pulled me back in, right? It was the whatever it is. No, for you guys, though, I mean, just when you think it's over, they pulled you back in, right? Paige, what do you think about this that just happened today? Once again, guys, reality and wrestling, this is what I love, storytelling. So what do you think about this whole take that we saw that happened right after the show?
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly far from over. I think the Now rightfully won those titles and deserved to win those titles after the past year of feuding. And I think that just lit a match under Santa Slaughter, and it's just going to get more chaotic, more bloodthirsty. I think we are in for a treat with this feud.
No, and, once again, not to, say, like, I love storytelling, Jonathan, but, like, what other place around our area, at least I'm not going to look up the other indies in the world, but around here where these guys had a history before ACW.
Sure.
They brought that history and just continued it at ACW last year, and now it's almost like we're full circle coming right back to the Poughkeepsie Rumble on January 3rd over here, to where this is where it all started. They had all these matches leading up, and everything led into the next, right, for these guys. So I feel like if you look at the year as a whole for the Now and Santa Slaughter, like, Santa Slaughter got the best of the Now got the best of Santa Slaughter. Now we're coming up to January. I don't know what's going to happen. You saw this happen in this video right here, what it's going to lead to. But, something's going to, looks like, continue or boil over into what we're going into January. I don't know. This is what's been great about ACW, the whole stories.
And again, not to go too far into what else we're going to be talking about, but ACW is proven itself. It's a place that people want to come to wrestle. And, not only do we have the Now and Sin to Slaughter, but we got 2 new tag teams coming into ACW. And so that tag team landscape is no longer just the ACW tag team champions, the Now versus Sin to Slaughter. We have potentially, the Audacity was there. We had the Righteous making their debut. That's so right. I really think that you're gonna just keep seeing these people, new people, show up all the time to try to prove themselves in this promotion. And the landscape, again, I talk about it all the time, but there are implications to everything that happened on this show. And the Righteous had a great showing. If you can dig it, I'm ready to see where they fit into the scene too. So
sure. And for Paige, or for you too, Jonathan, but both of you guys, where does that lead us though for this? What would you kind of envision seeing something with them in January or beyond that? After this boils down to it, I think if they ever go their separate ways or whatever happens to break these teams up, we do have these other teams that are coming into the ACW right now that could lead to another 2026 that we don't even know what's going to happen. But Paige, how do you feel about just the maybe expansion of the tag team division now at ACW, but also just how this whole match, I guess, isn't over yet? I mean, could we just bring up about what's going to be? What do you think maybe is happening in January and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, I think as much as we as fans love watching the Now and Sin to Slaughter interact, for a lack of a better word, I think the other tag teams who are coming into the division are going to want a turn, and I think they're going to get a little sick of them running it back constantly. So I think we could see a little bit of a shakeup there, whether it's open challenge, interference. I think they're not going to let this go on for too much longer, as much as we might want it to.
Sure, and I want to shout out, because you mentioned the packages before too. Greg Capra, ringside cameraman, who had his hands
friend of the show
into all these packages, if you will, for that happened that we saw for the tag team, for the main events, and then what you just saw backstage. He's the cameraman filming that. Great guy. I've known him for over 10 years plus. We've worked together many times. Friend of the show, Greg. I know you're watching. You got to be watching out there, man. But big shout out to Greg. Check him out, man. And if you guys ever need a cameraman, check him out. But no, this is great because all of people coming from media. Paige from radio, Jonathan from the farm. Well, it's not going to be. It's the same. But you're coming from an area where you have to work with people, and you're good. Yeah. But just everybody has like their hands in it from that we know of our friends in the media world making this come together. But it's like, I don't know. It's like I feel like it's one of those things where it's like Captain Planet. They are like with our powers combined. Yeah. You get Captain Planet. But it's like, but it's great seeing everybody involved, especially with production, because there's a lot of things that are going on behind there from the photographers like Viv out there, V1 Visionary. I think that's right, Paige? Yeah. From Greg out there, for the camera guys, and countless others backstage. Alex, who I work with too. We're not wrestlers. We can't do what these guys are doing. I'm never going to say I could do anything like these guys are doing, but I feel like...
Well, that's funny. You say it all the time.
I do. Don't tell them that. But as artists, as media people, to where it's great to capture what's going on with ACW at the end of the day, just from what we're seeing, and to have this locally, Jonathan, because we're just doing it at the award-winning Beacon Podcasting now. What is that? They won the... Sal, you there? You could tell me. I forget the award, and I feel embarrassed, but
it's okay, man. We won the bronze for Best Guest, Lydia Bastianich at the Signal Awards.
It's incredible.
Congratulations, man.
It's great. Thank you.
One day, Jonathan. One day.
Yes. We're going to win an ESPY and a Emmy and Razzie. And
shout out to I Wish I Were Prosciutto, definitely.
Yes. Awesome. Guys, check them out, man. But once again, Beacon Podcasting locally, for us to be all together, guys. I'm loving the synergy happening with
Yes.
this, Jonathan. That's
Yeah.
what's great about it. But with this main event, and I know we're turning it up, it was pretty much like a double main event, I guess, this week, right, guys? At Mischief Night, to where we had the ladder match. Overall, though, let's talk about the brutality of this, though, because it involved the Now and Sent to Slaughter. We did talk about Miss Delicious that was involved with this. Josh Chernoff, the manager of the year from his award.
Yeah.
All involved on this match. And even, I think, one guy we haven't talked about is Joe Clean. What did you think about Joe Clean coming in? I mean, Sent to Slaughter took him out last week.
Yeah.
This week, no, not last week, last show or whatever. This show, Joe Clean kind of...
he came back with a vengeance.
I'm saying, what do you think about Joe Clean, man? That was a huge pop.
Huge pop. The roof blew off of the MJN Center, and I think that this is another person who maybe people kind of put aside and think, oh, he's not really going to be a factor in this, and he absolutely was a factor in this match. Paige, I know that you are very familiar. It seems like you have an encyclopedic knowledge of indie wrestling. What was your experience pre-ACW with Joe Clean, if you had any?
Honestly, ACW was my introduction to Joe Clean, but I have been seeing him a lot more lately as I've been attending a lot more indie shows, especially ICW. I've been seeing him there a lot, and I love him. I think he gets a great reaction from the crowd every time he is wrestling. And, when his music hit, everyone turns to the stage looking for him, and then for him just to come out from the other side, it was a really cool moment and well-deserved.
No, Brian Chairs is in the chat. He said JB. He shouted, yeah.
Oh, awesome!
There, man. Saying hi,
Huge
Capra.
friend
Greg
of the
Capra. He says Joe Clean is on the rise. So in his eyes, just as the camera guy filming, is on the rise. So I don't know, man. I've seen him. I think it's some other in Jersey. I think ISPW, but I haven't seen him. He was cleaning the ring.
Yeah.
Got over with that. Just cleaning the ring ropes, and people love him, man.
Real
and then,
Cinderella story.
I'm saying, and now coming full circle. But I'm saying he got hit over the head with like a mop bucket or something last time, and that was brutal. But to come back from that, one of the biggest pops of the night. I mean, this is his.
But that just shows you that one day you can be cleaning the ring, and the next, you're involved in one of the main event matches. So. Dream big, kids.
No, man. And Neil's saying that Papa Joe Clean was amazing, and that's it, man. Because it's like, and I got a little carried away with everybody we're working with, and it's great because it's like we're on the other side of the spectrum. That's like you can't. That's a whole other thing. No, we're on the other side of the stories, right?
Sure.
Like we're not the wrestlers, but we're involved somehow with telling what we're seeing, right? We're calling it like it is as media people, broadcasters, journalists, whatnot. But then you see the reactions of how ACW as a whole can build a character like Joe Clean,
sure,
whose gimmick is to be a janitor, right? He's Mr. Clean, right? But he's a wrestler. And the simplest of characters in a way gets over.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Leo Sparrow. Leo Sparrow had a great match, main evented at Barton Orchards for ACW against Enzo Amore, the real one, for the national championship. We're seeing guys we see in our area, but we don't see them through the same lens that we get to see them through at ACW, which is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think that's what ACW does. It gives those people room to grow.
Yeah.
Right? So it doesn't put them in a box. It doesn't say, okay, you have to do this, you have to be this. It's, kind of come in and let's see. And that's what was awesome about Barton Orchard. It was a smaller show, but it did give people, it introduced them to a new audience. It gave them, that's the first time I saw, I believe the first time I saw Yusufer there. And, that I had nightmares for about a week. But, that was great. And I think that just, again, goes to show you how you can organically get over, which is something that is sometimes missed in the bigger realms.
No, that's right. And Paige, how do you feel about this too? Because you probably have different experiences with wrestlers throughout, the wherever you see them at, right? To where has somebody that you've seen maybe outside of ACW or just in ACW over the past 5 shows that have kind of grown, just as I don't know, just anybody that we've seen, because we've seen characters I think people are in the chat saying the Hunter, Parker Boudreaux, just random Joe Clean, for example. Maybe your take still on this whole match with Joe Clean. How's your thoughts of just seeing these other guys in a different light, I guess?
Yeah, going off of what JB was just saying, I think Barton Archers was a really cool experience because it led to something else for a lot of the wrestlers who performed at that show. So we had a couple people debut at the Civic Center or MJN Center this past week, specifically at the Parker Boudreaux Gauntlet match, which I thought was a really cool experience. Ricky Price, Buddy Thomas, and Lucifer all got to be in that. And I think that was really cool because I know for a fact that Ricky Price and Buddy Thomas grew up watching wrestling in that arena. So getting to debut there was something really cool for them, and being able to watch that was really cool. And I think they did a fantastic job, and I think ACW is giving them a really awesome opportunity to grow their exposure, and it's just a cool thing we're doing.
You know, I think about all these names too, like from Ricky, Buddy, the Parkers, the Hunter, AJZ, you know, all these guys, Dante Casanova, who we'll get into, you know, all this other stuff. You know, I think it's just how ACW is presenting a wrestling show as opposed to going to a high school and you see, you know, don't get me wrong, I love all wrestling shows, but I'm just saying to where I just feel like being able to help with production for like a show like this, it's more than just a wrestling show. It's like a theater production. It's like the main, like our own WrestleMania every time, right? Like this is what we can do for wrestling in our area. We're going to do it as best as we can and try to go all out with it. And when you see guys, something as simple as having their name behind them in a video wall, you lose that kind of like, you know, you get immersed into this kind of a show to where, oh, I'm not just at a local wrestling show anymore. I'm seeing the same thing I'm seeing WWE does, but I'm not paying $5,000 for ringside seats. But you know what I mean? I think that's what's great about all this. And I want to talk about more about this match, but you know what I mean? I keep going. I'm having like a nostalgia trip. I'm having like this like Jonathan back in my day, my kids, these kids. I'm getting like that emotional to where like, I don't know. I'm having that kind of night with storytelling here. Yeah,
and I mean, I definitely think that what's really cool too, and it's not something that we've talked about yet, but throughout the show, peppered in, there were the ACW championships, but there were also people from TNA. So we had Mike Santana there, we had Indi Hartwell there, and I know just from what we've done on this podcast that it's not an easy task to get someone from another company to come to your company. And I think that shows a lot of trust in management at ACW. It shows a lot of trust in ACW as a product, that Mike Santana, Indi, that these people are showing up and multiple times. This isn't like a one and done thing. Your Nic Nemeth, your Matt Cardona's. You know, Paige was talking about it earlier where Matt Cardona is one of the biggest stars on the independent scene. He was just on NXT, as you mentioned, and he was in Poughkeepsie for ACW. And I think that shows what this company is doing, and the sky's the limit. And it really is a team effort. Obviously, you saw that a lot just from everything at that show. But I think there's something to be said about those companies that are doing that and working with so many different people. So I really look forward to continuing to see, and I don't want to say too much, but there was some implications again with this Santana match that is going to be happening on the 3rd.
No, yeah. So, and Paige, I feel like for even both of you guys, to where, you know, from when ACW started to where we got to Mischief Night, we had like an NWA takeover at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
Now we almost had like a TNA takeover of the show. And it's like, for other companies to send their guys to go to these other shows and know that, you know, they're not going to get hurt through the barbed wire match or whatever. But, you know, like to trust a company to showcasing their talent the same way they would do it on their TV, like their TV shows, or just like giving them a product to be like, hey, my talent's going to this show, but look, look at these amazing shots. Like Jay, photographer guys for ACW, Jay Vogel, you know, like just photos, like making it look badass compared to like any other indie out there.
Yeah.
You're bringing these characters in from TNA, from and the NWA, you know, like all over, and they're not just going to a high school. They're going to like another show, and being able to, I wish WWE would do this more, to where they can have like an NXT wrestler go on an indie somewhere. I know Natalia kind of did it with NWA somewhere, but it was like, I don't know. I feel like they could still do something different, especially with all the talent sitting back there. But man, you're gonna have to stop me, Jonathan, because I keep going on this trip of like how, when the show comes together, you can take talents like NWA and TNA. Paige, what do you think about this too? To where these talents aren't just going anywhere; they're going to the show, but they're being showcased like they were, as if they were on their own show in a way, right? If that's, I'm trying to get that point across, right? Like that kind of.
Yeah, and I think it's special that we're not just getting them once; these are reoccurring appearances by a lot of these stars, and I think that proves even more than just getting them for the first time, because it means that TNA trusts us, NWA trusts us. And I think a really cool moment during the show was when Mike Santana came down through the crowd with the TNA World Championship belt on him. I think getting that belt showcased in the Civic Center or MJN Center for ACW was a really cool moment. I was actually up in the crowd filming it for our social media, and it was just a really cool experience that you don't get to see at Indies very often.
No, for sure. I just want to say something about that TNA, because Mike Santana, after winning the TNA championship, could have just been like, hey, I want a week off. I'll see you next Still came out. This was his first appearance as TNA champion on ACW show, on an outside show besides TNA. So that's awesome. And that's awesome right there in itself.
And he made it a point to come out and challenge, Matt Cardona for January 3rd and said, I'm coming.
That's a main event, man.
Yeah.
And title versus title, champion versus champion, whatever it's going to be. That's a main event. That's another. There's been such great main events for ACW. Paige, what do you feel about this too? I know we don't want to kill too much of your time tonight. Just to maybe get this one last mention about the tease leading to the Rumble, right? Cardona versus Santana, TNA champion, ACW champion. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I did not expect Santana to come out at the end of that match. I thought we were just going to see Cardona celebrating, Richard Holliday on the floor crying, covered in tears, which was quite the sight to see. But when Santana's music hit and he came out there, I was surprised, even as someone working the show. So I can only imagine how the crowd felt. I think it's going to be a really cool match to have at the Poughkeepsie Rumble, and I'm very curious to see how that goes.
Awesome.
I think they're just continuing to try to get banger after banger. Sorry, Sheamus, but I feel like that's what ACW's goal is. But so Paige, I just like Steve said, I know that your time's very valuable. You've got plenty going on, but we are heading into our Halloween show next week. What will you be doing for Halloween? Any spooky activities you're doing? Any movies you're watching? What does a Paige do for Halloween?
I'm not too sure yet what I'm going to be doing. Have you seen the TikTok trend where you go to Target and you buy different snacks for a movie night, and you turn around, you pick which one you get?
Paige, I'm 42 years old. I don't know what a TikTok is.
He works on a farm all day.
Yeah. But enlighten me.
Well, I'm trying to do that with my boyfriend. That's what I want to do on Halloween. Okay. I want to watch a movie, I want to eat snacks, and I want to have a relaxing night in, because I've been traveling every weekend and I'm a little exhausted.
No, I hear that one. No, that's awesome, man. Yeah. I just say man or everything. Paige, thanks so much. We'll have to get you back in the studio when we kind of relax for a week. It's been a crazy few weeks, guys. But Paige, thank you so much for joining us. If fans want to follow you, where can they follow you? And
respectfully follow. Don't be like, don't be a stalker. Don't be.
But where can fans follow you? And any last thoughts leading into the Rumble?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at page.pomz. And I just can't believe I have to wait till January. That's all I do.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much. We'll see you soon. All right. We'll have you on. We're going to be doing this live every week, Jonathan, until January. So, guys, thanks so much, Paige. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Steve, again, with all the stars are coming out. So we touched on a lot of matches and things, and again, I've got some questions for you. I've been, this is part of me being the most professional podcaster out there.
All right.
I want to talk about this ACW Women's Championship match.
Yeah.
We had Indi Hartwell, and we didn't know who her opponent was going to be, really. Nope. We found out that it was going to be Tasha Steelz.
Yep.
And what a heck of a match. And I mean, again, for those of you who weren't aware of Tasha, like just really incredible pro wrestler.
No, she's one of those diamonds in the rough, I believe. You know, she's if you don't know her, you should know her, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And you know, I've known her from the Northeast for years, seeing her on the independents over here. Now in TNA, mother.
Yep.
With Mustafa Ali's stable. Sorry, it's just a white guy saying that. Can't don't kill me. But no, I mean, I've seen her come a long way.
Sure.
Definitely a talented. You know, something happened. I think they did announce it was Zeta Steel. She had to pull out of the show for family. Something happened, obligations, whatever. But Tasha Steelz stole the show, I think, with Indi Hartwell stepping up. What a match! I think first of all, we need to see more Tasha in Poughkeepsie. But with Indi, man, you know, defending her championship, rightfully so. She's had a few championship reign. Oh, I can't think of the word, man. Just a few,
several matches.
She's had a good reign right now with the ACW Women's Championship.
Yep.
So good match. Even if it was last minute kind of decision, they had to get somebody in there, right? It was a good match.
Now, I promised you a question. Here's my question.
All
so
right.
after the match, we found out that there's going to be a match come January 3rd.
Oh, yes.
Indi Hartwell versus
Shotzi
Blackheart, the ballsy badass, as she is known. Now, that's not the question.
All right.
But I was watching from the crowd.
Yep.
I saw Vicious Vicky come out, and she was on
Yes.
commentary. I didn't hear, because obviously I was not hooked up to where I could hear what was going on. But what happened, because I saw Vicious Vicky storm off.
Sure. So if you haven't seen it yet, Jonathan, it's on Triller right now. You can watch it on Triller. So if everybody watching at home, go to thisisacw.com. You'll be able to see the links to watch it. But I think she's a little upset. So she didn't have a match on this show. She said that she was going to be there. She was on commentary. During that commentary, I feel like she saw somebody kind of step in where kind of her place is, to where, you know, I think in her mind, in her rightfully so, I think has deserved to be up there in the women's championship division for ACW. But I feel like she's seen other people move in on top of her just because they have a name. They came from WWE,
sure,
or they came from wherever. So I think she's kind of getting a little bit frustrated to where she's here. She had a win at Barton Orchards over Rebecca Scott. You know, coming into this show, she should have, I think, rightfully had a match. Didn't have a match. Now she's almost seemingly getting pushed aside for Shotzi Blackheart to go against Indi Hartwell as opposed to her. So I don't know if there's going to be a way Vicky is going to get into this match, or will she have her own match, or something's going to happen. I think she's very frustrated, so she stormed off basically because of this.
Well, I'm just going to say, Vicious Vicky, if you're listening, you always have a platform here at AWP to come and air your grievances, if you will. You know, big fan of Vicious Vicky, huge upside for her. I want to see what's going to happen with this, because I'm not so sure that she may not try to insert herself into this match, or at least show ACW management that, you know, not to sleep on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you know, I think she has a bright future.
Yep.
For Vicious Vicky. But I don't know. I got to see what's going on, to where how she came in guns blazing last January, and has kind of scratched and clawed her way to get to this championship shot. She had a championship shot with Indi, didn't quite make it, but you know, she had a win at the next like a show right after that, right? I can't think of the Rolodex in my head of all the shows. But I don't know, man. I feel like we talked a little bit about the tag division. We have a women's division now.
Absolutely.
And she's right up there. So, you know, I don't know. I think it's a matter of time to where we could see a Vicious Vicky ACW women's champion. But when, Jonathan? I don't know, because if we keep getting other names to come in on that. But I don't know. I think she's visibly upset. She wants to interject herself somehow into this match. What it's going to be, I don't know. Or what do you think? Could frustration lead to anything else? To where, do we see Vicious Vicky again? Is she done with ACW? I don't know.
I mean, we'll have to keep track. Like I said, I think that, it would be great for her to come in sometime, maybe clear up some of this. I think that she's great.
It's good to let it out, right? This is a good venting mechanism, right?
AJ Lee was a big proponent of therapy. I agree. I think that maybe this is the talk therapy.
We'll see what's really bothering her. Maybe we could see get under it.
I would say if you're listening and you would like to see that, feel free to tweet her. Is that a thing anymore?
Tweeting? Well, do they call it Xing or no?
I don't know. That's odd. But
It's
anyway,
still Twitter.
let Vicious Vicky know that she should come on the podcast. But again, Steve, we've already talked about amazing matches, but another one that we knew was going to be a barn burner and absolutely delivered on that. Sydney Arakim versus Dante El Jaguar Casanova.
El Jaguar. El Jaguar.
Yeah, I'm from Indiana. It's
Jaguar.
fine. Versus the Hunter AJZ.
Yeah.
And there were implications for this match as well. The winner was getting the number 20 spot for the Poughkeepsie Rumble. So what were your thoughts on just the three of them working together? We had Dante on, and he kind of talked about it. He told us that he was going to win, and now I'm thinking that you come on the podcast, you become a winner.
I'm saying, man, that's going to be a good commercial, right?
We've had the Now on, Tag Team Champs, Dante.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Just saying, people. Just saying. No, that's
podcast of winners.
And I do want to address. There are people asking questions in the chat. We'll get to you guys. We're going to go through some of that in a minute. It's hard to keep up. It's really going fast. There's like a ranking system in here too. There's like the number one commenter, the number 3. Greg, come on, you're the number 3. Hurry up, man. No, it's I don't know. It's the chat. We see you. We hear you. But this match, man, it almost felt like a number 1 contenders match.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was for the number 20 spot for the Poughkeepsie Rumble, January 3rd. This is ACW.com. But it was also, to me, of the future of ACW. Yes, Sydney Arakim comes from WWE, but it's still, I still think the sky is the limit, no pun intended, for him to where the dude's talented. I mean, he's a former Circus Olay performer, but like on top of that, man, the dude can wrestle. He's he's a great guy just to watch live. What he does, right? I don't want to get into that. I can't do it. Talented performer. Dante Casanova, man, we saw him since the first show. And I feel like he's grown. Like to me, coming in at the first show, like we said at the last, like I didn't really know him. I didn't, I was like, all right, let me give this guy a chance. Midwest champion now at NWA. So, he's kind of found his stride, I think, if you will, in ACW. And then even the Hunter AJZ, had a win over Yosifer at Barton Orchards ACW show. Still a strong talent, no pun intended for that too. The dude's ripped, right? But he's still not changing those shorts for you, Jonathan. He loves those shorts.
Yep.
But besides the point, like this to me was like a number 1 contenders match, almost for like the national title, almost, right? But it's still going into the Rumble, man. Dante Casanova can now kind of sleep easy till January, knowing that he has the last spot. I feel like going into each match, these guys are going to be training. They're going to be doing something for this match to get ready for it. I'm not saying he's not going to train, but to walk mentally knowing that you're the number 30 spot or number 20
odds
spot
are in your favor,
right?
For sure.
So you have to have that chip on your shoulder, knowing that you could be the next champion. You could be the next ACW champion. I mean, that at the end of the day is the feel good moment, right? Of the night for him.
Yeah, and these people were similar, like the Intercontinental title back in the day. It meant that you were kind of destined to become the world champion someday. These 3, I could see very easily any of them holding that ACW championship someday. Mm-hmm. And, huge upside. I'm a big fan of all 3 of them. And I think if you're looking to buy a ticket to the show, whatever you pay to get in to that, I would say it's worth it just to see Sydney Arakim's offense, what he does. Like,
my back hurts just from watching him try. I'm like, I can't. I got to stretch now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just watch what he does, man. No, it's very talented.
Now, this is something that's been kind of eating at me a little bit.
This is what we're here for.
So, again, we talked briefly about Parker Boudreaux. I really, I want to give him all the flowers. I think he's great. I think that, I got to talk with him briefly at the event about his. He's wrestling a lot in Japan right now. He came out in a robe, kind of reminiscent of like a Dr. Death, Steve Williams.
Yep.
He just really appreciates old classic wrestling with the really gritty people. And we saw this gauntlet challenge, and there were several people that came out and answered the gauntlet. Luckily, my video didn't pop up.
I made one for you, and I was like, "Listen, guys, $20.
Yes,
get them in there. Yeah. It's for me. I want to see this on camera."
Yeah,
it didn't work.
It didn't happen this time, but it was really incredible. And I don't know. There comes a point where the gauntlets and he's beating old legends, or he's doing all these things. When is it Parker's time to get a championship?
Man. I love the giants of wrestling.
Sure.
I love Andre the Giant. I love collecting his figures. We'll talk about some figures too in a little bit.
Yep.
But I love the Beasts, the Brock Lesnar's, the Parker Boudreaux, man.
Yep.
I kind of touched on this last time to where I remember him in NXT, and I remember he had a little stint in AEW really quick, and I was Googling some of his or YouTubing some of his matches, and I'm like, man, why didn't they I go back to this, Jonathan, being that old guy, get off my porch. But I'm back in my day. But back with what I love about ACW and how they use talent is that they know the story you guys are trying to convey. They know how to use these talents in this kind of a way, right? And I'm not trying to break the third wall here, but at the same time, a guy like Parker, when you see a guy who's been on NXT and they didn't know what to do, and you see that he went to AEW, they still didn't know what to do. And for him working his butt off in Japan, he said he's training in dojos every week. To come into ACW and to have a trust with who you are as a wrestler, your brand, your character, your gimmick, whatever, to where I don't know, I'm very emotional, sentimental, right, Jonathan, about what we're seeing with just the storytelling. But for Parker, man, coming in as the new monster and seeing this kind of gauntlet match. These are the kind of matches like Umaga used to have. I remember they would put him on Raw. You'd stand in the ring and they would just, guys would come in and they would try to beat Parker until one day, it could happen. But, I like these monsters in wrestling, and I love seeing these kind of guys in wrestling, just what they can do, not just because of the matches are fun and something, just they're so crazy, fast, and aggressive. But I don't know, man. It's great to see what he's doing.
Do you think we see gold around Parker's waist in 2026? In ACW, that is.
I would say, why not? I mean, if he enters the Rumble, man, you may be number 20, Dante, but if he's number 29, I'm sorry, right? It's one of those things, right? As good at the end of the day, Dante's riding the coast into the Rumble as number 20, but I mean, who could be number 19? I said 29, whatever. But who could be number 19? Lo and behold, it could be a Parker Boudreaux, to where he could walk in and walk out as your almost next could be ACW champion. And this is what I love about wrestling, Jonathan. You just don't know. But with him, man, I think it's a guarantee. It could be a guarantee that a guy, what he's doing, anything can happen.
So
right?
I just want to be clear. I think yes. I said yes.
I like to go the long way around and just kind of
but I kind of want to. Let me just get this clear. You don't think he's going to win?
No, that he did with Parker.
Because earlier you were saying.
No, don't say no.
No, I think he's really good, and I think that he is happy to surprise people. Because I think what they saw definitely isn't what he is. He's a lover of the game, and I think that he has got such respect for what ACW is doing. And I would love to see gold around his waist in 2026 in ACW. But
for sure. And shout out real quick to Buddy Thomas, Ricky Price, and Yosef for running the gauntlet, man. Because I mean, I wouldn't sign up for that. I wouldn't sign up for that, but no, man, crazy times for that match. It was cool.
You mentioned that we had some chatter going.
Yeah,
What we got going there?
Capper Vision and Guitars, Greg, cameraman.
Yep.
We got to shorten your YouTube name, but no, Greg, man, he was saying Parker's hungry and he has a lot of heart. I think that's what you see. Like the dude wants to show you what he could do.
Yep.
He's got the energy. He's built like a monster, right?
Yep.
So he got it. He said Parker, he was mentioning that he was influenced by Dr. Death, Steve Williams, the whole attire. Neil, he's saying Eric, he made his ROH debut over the weekend as well. So, I mean, you see him in ACW one day, you could see him on Ring of Honor, you could see him on NXT, Matt Cardona one week, next week. And that's what's good about local wrestling, man, to where I'm not paying $5,000 ringside for a WWE show.
Yeah.
I could pay $50 and still have a way better time. A few other things we got. What was going on? I think some of the things you talked about, they brought up Brian Myers or Santana, Tasha Steelz, some of the stuff we were talking about. But Anil is asking also, how is Machoverse doing?
See, that's one of the things I want to talk about, and I don't know exactly if any of you are seeing this for the first time. What was happening? There was a tag match. It was Zach Clayton and Danny Dorian going against Tommy Dreamer and Crowbar, right?
Yeah.
And during the match, emotions ran high. There were a lot of and interferences and so on and so forth. And ultimately, Danny and Zach Clayton, they picked up the W, right?
Yeah.
And then it looked like sometime during the match, Crowbar's pipe that he brings out with him to the ring, an equalizer, if you will.
Isn't that funny, though? He's never brought out a crowbar. He's always brought out a pipe. And that's even in WCW. That's a fun fact for you.
I think that's because he's crazy, right? He's crazy.
Crowbar brings a pipe, right?
So,
a metal pipe.
What ended up happening is somehow Machoverse got a hold of it. Machoverse, for those of you who are just listening to us for the first time,
former guest of the show.
A former guest of the show, friend of the show, and obviously somebody who's really into professional wrestling and all of that. And anytime we've had conversations, he's just really excited about wrestling. So he had Crowbar's pipe.
I think he was just trying to give it back to him, though, right?
Well, I don't know.
You think he was trying to keep it?
I don't know. But what ended up happening was Crowbar put his hands on a fan and pulled him over the guardrail. And, I kind of think that, I don't know how you felt about this, but I kind of feel like if you're going to put yourself in that position, you're not supposed to, grab. You're not supposed to do things. And for all Crowbar saw is maybe Machoverse was going to hit him because there was a lot of interference in that match. And maybe Machoverse was heel Machoverse that day. I don't know.
Did you see that Machoverse had the same kind of attire that Macho Man had in that same building over 30-something years later when Crush turned on Macho Man? It was at the MJN Center, Mid-Hudson Civic Center at the time. Same building.
Well, then he had it coming. He's asking for it.
So, we got to, I guess you can't wear those, the red and the pink and the yellow or whatever he had on that. But, no, man, it's crazy because he's a fan. He's a cosplayer. He does wrestle, I believe. I'm pretty sure he's wrestled, but we haven't seen him on whatever. But he's a wrestler. But, I mean, that night he was ringside. And
but he somehow inserted himself into it. I think that
don't insert yourself.
There's a fine line. You
should have dropped it and walked away.
Yeah. I mean, again, I keep myself away from those sort of situations because we can talk all day about what the ring feels like, but like he got pulled over and that was right on the concrete. There was nothing, no soft landing there. I don't wish any harm on the guy. I really like Machoverse, but I think that you got to be careful when he gets very involved in those around ringside. There's a lot of handshaking. It's all ha and funny, but
no.
This was
okay. Well, so how about this? Well, then what else stood out with you for this whole show as a whole, right? Because even we mentioned Ben Bishop. I think Greg in the chat saying they call him B3, but him versus Real One for the national championship. Sure. He did have a national championship match prior at an Aftershock where it was a fatal 4-way. Didn't come out on top. Did it come out on top this weekend? But man, The dude's big. He's a big trouble, Ben Bishop, man. And, he famously had us try out at SummerSlam, as we saw online from promoting it. But, man, he should be signed. I feel like someone needs to sign him right now because, once again, going into the category of these big dudes, man, and he's, he looks like a wrestler. Yep. He could talk like a wrestler. He walks the walk, he talks the talk. But Ben Bishop, man, I want to see more of Ben around here, especially in Poughkeepsie. The dude's talented. I think the sky is the limit also for him. But I think it was close, but another hell of a match for the national championship with Real One.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the mistake sometimes is people look past Real One. They think, okay, I know what he is. He's got a lot of talking that he can do. Maybe they think they figured him out, his moveset, they know whatever. And I think maybe Ben just had his sights set a little beyond Real One. Now, that was probably a mistake. I think now he's understanding, and I would definitely like to see him get another crack at it. But now he goes to the end of the line. Yeah. So I think Big Trouble, Ben Bishop, has to do something big in 2026. Yeah. Because if he doesn't, then there are going to be other people that are nipping at his heels to get that spot.
No, yeah, that's the thing is, like, with these matches, if they could get kind of like it's almost like a depression to where, like, man, I didn't get a win lately, right? And you almost fall into that Danny Dorian category where he finally got his W, too, which wasn't talked about because that tag match was Danny Dorian's first win this year. Yeah. And, like, that should be the headline news right there.
And his first official match. He'd been getting kind of screwed over a little bit.
I didn't think he was going to come out dressed as like an Italian, as the FBI Italian,
There's a lot of dancing, yeah.
But I think that's overlooked, that Danny Dorian. I'm thinking about it now. Out of the whole year, man, you think of somebody who's had like a lost record or lost streak or streak, whatever, to come out and actually get a W this week. So, I mean, that's a positive note, I guess, for him. But, for Ben Bishop to wear incredible match, incredible talent, I think the sky's the limit for him in 2026, and I could see maybe a national championship reign down the line. I could even see him moving to the heavyweight championship contender, this time next year or something like that. So, I mean, I hope we see more of him. But, man, the dude's talented, and you can't teach that.
You can't teach that, but what you can teach is going to thisisacw.com to get your tickets for the January 3rd Poughkeepsie Rumble. Yeah, already announced Matt Cardona versus Mike Santana, Indi Hartwell versus Shotzi Blackheart. Real One's going to be there in action. The Now are going to be announced, or they're announced already as well. Front row tickets already gone.
Sold out, man. Night of. That's got to at least be like the icing on the cake for them to where, like, people are ready for more. They want more. What you've done this year alone, like, tickets on sale, I'm buying them. I'm coming back. And first row is gone. Like, and there's not a bad seat in the house, but I mean, first row, that's the best seat, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that also, once you want to be at these shows because they announce stuff like this, you find out at the show that there's a promo code, get in there right now. Tickets are on sale. They do make great holiday gifts.
That's what I'm saying. It's good Christmas.
If you're looking for, we're both December babies, right? So if you were looking to get me something in a couple months, that would be a great gift for me.
And I got kids, Jonathan. I can't afford that.
Well,
no, but I can because it's so cheap.
It's very family friendly. Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, Jonathan. I mean, I'll buy you a ticket this year.
That's very, very kind of you. This is ACW.com. Another thing that I want to talk about just based on ACW, I want to put a bow on this real quick.
Sure.
ACW has been incredible. I would love to, and hear me out, but I think maybe towards the end of this year, we should do like a year in review show, like just talking about, from the beginning till Mischief Night,
sure,
and then kind of talk a little bit more. But I would love for, obviously the people who are watching tonight and commenting, start to think about some of your favorite moments. I'd love to do, like who's the ACW Wrestler of the Year, who's the Rookie of the Year, all those things. So I think we should be doing that, and it'll be a great upcoming show. But for those of you who didn't watch, like I said, or like Steve said, it's on Triller. But it wasn't all ACW this week, Steve.
Yeah.
And WWE Raw was last night. And we finally got confirmation that Seth is out. Seth Rollins is out. And he was taken out by what we're affectionately calling them now the Bronze Age. So Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. The Vision has kind of taken out.
It happens. You're talking for like an hour. It happens. Come on, people.
Seth Rollins. So, what were your thoughts on that? Did you think it was too soon?
I feel so bad for Seth Rollins, man, because he was at the top of the game.
He's never been on the show, so that could be
that's why.
Part
That's
of
what happens, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking back. I'm going back to like when it was the Universal Championship, right? When guys like him were coming over from NXT, and like you had Finn Balor as the Universal, then lost it. Then there was like whatever the matches were, but he came in really high, and then he started a decline, and not because of who. Like it was a weird. He was like it was like in a weird place, but he was at the top and then had this little bit of a decline. He was injured. He was gone for a little bit, came back, rose to the top again with the World Heavyweight Championship, saw him on tour over here, then went back out. I think he was out injured or something again. And, just when you think he's coming right back, unfortunately, another setback for him. And it seems serious enough to where they have to take him out of the foreseeable storyline to where it's not just a week or two. Like if they're cutting him out this much, he might not be back till sometime next year. Maybe, I don't know. We
did just see him come back from an injury that he had faked.
Yeah,
Is this?
No, I don't think they would do it after what they've done with him recently. I feel like it's too. Like it's unobvious, crap. Yeah. He's going to be out for a while because, I feel like you can't just go back to that story to where it was like he was whatever injured. Even if he was legitimately injured, they still had him in like a storyline, being like he could still have this cash in within a year. That's what I remember. They said something like that to where he injured himself, and it was like. But he still has a year, so it's okay that they don't have to get it off him or whatever. This, they can't do that. They can't just he'll be back in a year, but we'll keep the championship on him. So with this kind of a drastic move means something drastic did happen. So I hope for him it's not a career-ending kind of a situation. I hope it's something that he can come back. It's just one of those things that he can't come back right away. Just because I feel like he would rise and then he would fall, then he would rise, change his character up, and then he would fall, and then he was injured, and he's had a lot of hills and plateaus and whatever. So for at the end of the day, though, I mean, I don't know, man. When you get to a certain age, man, they bring you out back an old yeller you. They're going to put you out because it's like, I don't think we could do anything with him more. Is he going to be an injury risk now? Because when you invest time on somebody to where you're going to be that guy and you can't be that guy anymore, I'm sorry. And if, it's one of those things where we got to figure out a new plan. So the backup plan for this is going to Jey Uso versus CM Punk at the last
Saturday night's main event? Yeah.
The Saturday that's
there's
way
one
before
in
Cena.
November, and then there's the one.
The Cena's last one, yeah. So it's before that one. So yeah, man, I get it. They have to move on, but it's almost like, damn, why couldn't they just give Punk the championship at me? It's like, but now it's like if Punk does win, do you think he's gonna I know we can fast forward past Seth, but. Do you think they're going to give it to Jey back to Jey, or give it to CM Punk because they really need that star power kind of a thing to ride into?
I think it would make sense to give Punk a lengthy run, and then who comes back to fight him would be Rollins. It's perfect unless they're trying to get the title on Breaker, and then they could feed him Jey, which is my only thought.
Yeah,
they're not going to do that with Punk, I don't think. But one of the things that I want to talk about real quick is. From bad things, good things can happen, obviously. And somebody who really shined on Monday due to this unfortunate situation was Becky Lynch. Yeah. She cut what I would call a version of Becky's pipe bomb, promo. I don't think that, it wasn't whatever. It was one of those things. How real was what she was talking about versus how much of it was scripted. And one of the things that was really cool about it is we're seeing that reality in wrestling a little bit more. But, Becky was backstage. Paul was there. There was an interaction. She said that, Seth knew that he was going to turn on him and all that stuff, but that, he didn't care because he was nothing to it was really good. It was really well done. I think one that we'll be talking about for a while. And I hope that because I'll be honest, like Becky's character was kind of a little like it was missing something, I thought. So this, if she can ride this, I think that we're going to see something really good.
No, yeah, because with her and Seth, they were kind of riding that couple, like a power couple. Yeah. They were kind of like dressing the artsy, doing their thing. I get it. It worked. But now, if they're kind of pivoting on maybe where she's going to start going now because of this, because, to change a story up this drastically really fast means he's then coming back for like at least a year, right? It's going to be like one of those things. So I get what they're doing. I feel bad for the guy, but it's this is what happens in wrestling, man. Unfortunately, sometimes things happen, and the show must go on, right?
Yeah. Well, speaking of the show must go on, I will honestly say that. Again, I really have nothing against AEW, right? It's unfortunate for them that the clips that pop up on my phone are the ones that are maybe not the best. And had I been watching the Wrestle Dream pay-per-view, I might have called the cops because I'm pretty sure I saw an attempted murder live on television.
Yeah.
They did the plastic bag thing on Bryan Danielson.
I don't know why they do that. I get it, but I'm like,
it's this like shock sort of thing. I saw Cesaro pick up Darby and launch him nearly 50 feet. But the thing I'm talking about is there was a fish tank filled with water, a substantial amount of water in the ring, and Moxley dunked Darby's head in there several times. And I mean, honestly, for me, I was just like, it was one of those things like I just felt like I needed to shower afterwards. It just didn't feel right. And
and like we're coming full circle because like once again the storytelling, man. And I know this is a little mixed, like we're talking about stuff, but then we're talking about other stuff, right? But for this, I get that they're trying to be different. And then there's being different with like how you present your show, and then there's being different of like, oh, we're gonna use glass, we're gonna use and I get what they're doing. At the same time, I feel like they've had a lot of stuff that have fallen flat with these things that you think they would have moved on by now and realized that it doesn't work. Hey, man. We're 40. We said it. We're gonna get off my lawn, Jonathan. Get off my lawn. We're at that thing. I get it. And like I'm trying to think of like 18-year-old Steve or Credo, what I would do, right? What would I be looking for? Because I was buying those VHS tapes. I had Cactus Jack in Japan VHSs, right? And I'm trying to put my 18-year-old self into now. And even then, like, I don't know, like I wasn't never really turned on by like those kind of things to where like I would tune in to see like a hardcore match and these like light bulb matches just to see, I got to see what's going on. Sure. What am I missing, right? And even then, I'm like, I didn't mind like the barbed wire stuff. I was trying to get to see what was going on in Japan with Cactus Jack and all that. And I loved like that kind of stuff. But I don't know, man. It's one of those things. I guess you have to have a taste for it. It's like, and I guess. For me, I get what they're doing. I want to bring that back to where I get what they're doing, but I feel like it's not working how they want it to work, you know? And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like...
And I mean, again, I'm not going to say that everything that WWE is great. Like, I'm just not. Like, I disagree with some of the direction that WWE goes. I just feel like they're trying... In those instances, like, there's like 17 people that are like, that was awesome. Like, and the rest of the crowd has to sit there and watch someone get dunked in a fish tank for 30 seconds. It's just, and I get it. Darby's thing is he's kind of a stunt man, kind of a wrestler, whatever. But I don't know. It just, it takes me out of it.
Sure.
I'd rather see a good wrestling match, a good story, and someone again can argue that Darby he's that underdog. He won't quit, and he finally made Jon Moxley quit, which was great. But I just think that there's a different way to do it.
But I get it. But, like I said, as storytellers, the show must go on. We have to figure out how to get that story across to everybody. And, sometimes they want to do it a different way. But I do want to talk to you about it because we talked about ACW having championship belts at the shows and figures. So action figures are a big thing right now. I mean, I wish this stuff, and I say it over and over, I wish this was around when I was young, because it's like you get spoiled watching WWE and going to a WWE show, and then when you go to your own local wrestling show, you want it to be the same, and then it was never like that. As it's I love it, but it just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And for us to go to a show where they have a belt you can buy of the actual show or a figure, Sal, if you have this, man, I want to bring this up. These guys, My Fandom, they have an app, but they also have a collectibles now. They got figures and
that crowbar.
The crowbar's first figure. The man was in WCW, WWE, never had a figure till now.
Danny Moff with a Poughkeepsie Sucks shirt.
A Poughkeepsie Sucks shirt, man. And what happened at the show too? They debuted the Now. The Now have been added to this toy line. A Series 1, the first ever. They have the first ever Now figures. Hale Collins and Vic Delicious. One of 250. You can go on the site and buy it. But another, you said Danny Moff. He also has a Heel for Life shirt on. This is awesome, man.
Chase figure. Yeah,
man. These are the Hasbro type figures, right? I'm a big fan of the old school LJN ones, and Matt Cardona has the Bendies, the Major Bendies one. And I love those kind of figures, the big rubbers, what are they calling it?
I don't know that they call it that, but it's all right.
Something rubber. Yeah. But these, man, I feel like it's the opposite side for them, to where it's the whole Hasbro type figure, and I love these figures, man. I still have them all. I have them debut. I have them. They're in a case in my room, Jonathan. I have to show you this.
No, I've seen it. I come over and you're playing. Get them.
It's not like Spaceballs and he's playing with the figures in the room. No, I have a lot of these old ones. And I love them, man. But these bring back that childhood memory for us as wrestling fans in our 40s. Sure. I want the figures. I hope you have them all in pre-order right now, man, because they'll be coming out.
That's what I was just doing. And again, I still
put you down because I want to go into. Okay. I'll pay you back.
Yeah, sure. I think that this opens up a big door. This company, right now, you're seeing a lot of figure companies out there. Yeah. There is, Zombie Sailor. He's done Heels and Faces line, which is really cool. You're seeing big rubber guys, the Major Bendies, all that stuff. And so this is a niche kind of. These are indie stars.
Yeah, and that's
people. I mean, right there you see it. These are indie figures, one of 250. So really, it's a limited edition.
Yeah,
super limited edition. And look at those likenesses. That looks exactly like Vic and Hale.
I'm saying, man, all these are great, dude. They debuted the whole crowbar figure, then into the Danny Moff, and now the now.
And soon they're gotta be doing something with us.
They'll have a podcast line, I think, down the line. We'll be like the smaller figures on that can, but maybe one day.
I mean, if they make 250 of me, I can guarantee you that 10 of them would be bought by somebody, and then the other 240 I would buy. So I'm happy to pitch that to them.
No, what's great? This guy's a big. Don't let him fool you, because we had remember we had the whole fan cave thing.
Yeah, that was.
Don't let this dude fool you, because you've collected a lot of stuff. You've collected a lot of great stuff, man. You have a really awesome collection. But for figures, man, how about this? Do you have any Hasbro kind of figure memories? Because for these guys. It's. I want all of them. I want all of them right now.
Yeah, I can tell you. I was in the Midwest growing up and would go down to Toys R Us and get the. There was actually a place called Children's Palace in Indiana. It was a precursor to Toys R Us and KB Toys and all that. But I remember getting them, and my dad, no longer with us, but my dad would make I got the Hasbro ring.
Yeah.
And then he helped me build like an entrance ramp so that, I could walk them down. And I would tape record their themes from the television, and then I would hit play, and then I would walk the action figures down. And
back in my day.
Well, that was like 3 years ago. But no, but honestly, but seriously, folks. But no, I remember them, and I don't know if everybody else had this one, but when Doink came out, I was super jazzed about Doink, right? But every Doink that I've seen secondhand, that's not in package, his hands like this because his fingers broke off, and like his nose was all broke and stuff. He always looked really rough. But yeah, I mean, I went from the LJNs, those like 10-pound brick figures that we had, to Hasbro, and they were the first figures that actually had some character that I was super, super happy about. What about you?
No, I love that. I still have like Warrior, Hogan, Macho, the top three. I don't
Bret.
have in my collection growing up. I didn't have a Bret Hart. I wanted an Andre the Giant one. I remember my first figure, my first LJN was a Tito Santana. I still have that one. My brother got Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and I got Tito.
Your parents didn't like you?
I don't know. Maybe they just didn't know who was who, and they're like, out of everybody, we're not going to go Hogan. I'll give you Tito.
Tito.
It's all right. Tito, former guest.
Friend of the show.
Tito, man, we love you.
Arriba.
No, but I got to give them a shout out again. The myfandomcollectibles.com guys. If you want to pre-order your favorite My Fandom indie stars, it's so cool. I think this is really cool, especially what they're doing. And like I said, what's awesome about ACW is that they're having things like this to where you can get figures of guys you see right now happening, and that little bit of a retro feel to it, right? Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's just awesome all around. What 2025 has been. It's been the year of awesome. But Jonathan, next week, man, it's Halloween, baby.
It is Halloween.
It is Halloween. I know we're coming off of Mischief Night, but now it's Halloween. We might have some guests in store for you if you thought that was fun today. But Jonathan, it's Halloween, man. What are you going to wear? Are you dressing up?
I am neither confirming nor denying what I'm going to dress up as, but I will be dressed up next week for this awesome show that we've got going on.
We'll have a little costume party, a little costume contest.
There's two of us, so you're 50-50 chance of winning. But.
Look at us now, right?
Yes.
As Ben Bishop said, look at us on a Tuesday night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for a little aftershock. I mean, oh my gosh.
Mischief Night.
Mischief Night. I've been through a fallout. I've been through an aftershock.
Yes.
I've been through an uprising.
And a rumble.
Yeah. And a rumble, man. We're full circle right back to the Poughkeepsie Rumble. January 3rd, we're going to be there, right? We're going to lead up to that.
Yes.
All over the next few weeks into the holiday season. We're going from Halloween to Thanksgiving to Christmas to the Rumble. But first, Jonathan, it's Halloween.
And again, I just want to thank Sal, Beacon Podcasting, all the cast and crew here for the amazing work they do each and every week. If you are looking to start your own podcast,
the award-winning
podcast, Beacon Podcasting, and tell Sal that we sent you AWP, and for the most professional podcaster, I've been Jonathan Benjamin, and
hey, I'm Credo. We'll see you guys next week.
I mean, what
Maybe.
else?
We'll probably be here.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I don't have
any money.
Yeah, I got nothing else to do. So.
Well, that is it.